Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2020 Acura MDX, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the etrailer.com Class 3 2-inch trailer hitch receiver. So many MDX owners plan on using their SUVs to do a little bit of everything. So you're going to want a hitch that can handle just about anything you want to throw at it. So whether you plan on using it for just towing or accessories or even both, this hitch is going to be able to get the job done. And one of the big questions that we get asked is if the spare tire can indeed go back in place without interfering with the hitch. And as you can see, it fits up there perfectly. And if it were me, I'd want a hitch that wouldn't really affect the appearance of my Acura. And this hitch doesn't really do that. Although it is somewhat visible here, the receiver tube opening, what helps it kind of blend in is that carbide matte black finish. In my opinion, it kind of just gives it more of a factory look. One thing I do really like is how far the hitch comes out. It's going to give us some pretty good clearance. In my opinion, it kind of falls in that perfect area. The end of the receiver tube is going to be pretty much flush with our back bumper. So not only is it going to be easy to get to and work with, but it should give us enough clearance to use just about any folding accessory without having to worry about it hitting our back bumper when we put it in that upright position. Since this is a Class 3 hitch, it's going to give us that 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening. That is a very common size, and you shouldn't have any trouble finding pretty much any accessory that you'd want to use. It's going to have a reinforced collar for extra strength and have that standard 5/8 size pinhole. Now keep in mind, a pin and clip does not come included, but if you need one, you can pick it up here at eTrailer. We're going to have loop style safety chain openings, which aren't huge, but they should give us enough space to use just about any size hook that we might have. This hitch is going to have some really impressive weight capacities. As far as the maximum gross tongue weight rating goes, it's going to be 900 pounds. That's going to be the amount of weight that's pushing down on the hitch. That's a pretty high number. You should be able to use pretty much any size bike rack or cargo carrier that you would want to. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, it's going to be 6,000 pounds. That's going to be the amount of weight that's pulling on the hitch. So it is the weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have on it. Now this can be used with the weight distribution system, which is a separate component, and that connects to your trailer and helps keep everything nice and level. And if you were to use that, your maximum gross trailer weight rating would increase to 8,000 pounds, but your maximum gross tongue weight rating does remain the same at 900. Now, I do suggest it's never a bad idea just to grab your MDX's owner's manual to make sure your Acura can pull that much weight safely. And if you do plan on doing a little bit of towing, I would recommend picking up some trailer wiring. That way the lights on your trailer will match up with the lights on your Acura and you'll be safe and legal. Now let's go ahead and take a couple of measurements to see what hitch-mounted accessories will work best. If you go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, it's going to be right at 14 inches. So if you do plan on doing some towing, chances are really good you're probably going to need to get a ball mount with the rise. One I really like is the etrailer.com ball mount kit. That should work out perfectly with this hitch. If you go from the center of the hitch pin hole to the very edge of our bumper, it's going to be right at 3 inches. And you can use that measurement to help figure out that if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in that upright position without contacting the bumper. So at the end of the day, a really nice hitch. Not only is it going to look good, but you're going to be able to use it for just about anything that you want to do. Now, as far as the installation goes, it is very simple. It's one of the easier hitches, believe it or not, to get installed. Shouldn't take you a whole lot of time, and should have no problem getting it done at home, in your garage, or even in the driveway. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and put the hitch on together now. To begin our install, we're going to be here at the back of our MDX, and we're going to need to lower our spare tire. So the way to do that is inside of the hatch here. So if we open that up, lift up on our carpeting, as well as our little storage tray, we're going to see a plug right here. So you can just grab that plug, pop it out. We're going to have a little square fitting. Your spare tire tools are all right here. So we'll take the tool, pop it on there, and lower that tire down. Now eventually, once we get the hitch on, the tire will go back up, so you don't have to worry about keeping this stored or anything like that. You're just setting it off to the side for now. I like to go ahead and point out our attachment points here underneath our Acura. Now they're going to be the same on both sides, and anything we do to this side, we're also going to repeat on the other because they're set up the same way. So we're going to have 3 factory well nuts on the bottom of our frame rail. One here, and one here. Now I do suggest spraying these out with some penetrating oil, just using a brush to clean out the threads of any debris that may be lodged inside. Now we can kind of go over our hardware that we're going to use to secure the hitch, and it's all going to be the same. So we're just going to have a bolt and a conical tooth washer. Make sure that the teeth on the washer are going to face up. So what we're going to do is put our hitch in place, line up the holes in it with our attachment points, and use the bolts to simply just secure that hitch. Now what we can do is grab our hitch and raise it into position. So now kind of just a tech tip. I noticed sometimes it can be a little tricky to actually get the hitch up into position because our rubber exhaust hanger here is relatively close to the frame. So what I found that works pretty good is if you take the very edge of your hitch and kind of sneak it in there, and you want to do that even on both sides. So once you kind of get past there, that hitch will slide back where you need it to be. So once we have that hitch in place, we can line it up with our holes, take our hardware, and we want to get at least 1 bolt started, hand tight on each side. That way the hitch will support itself while we work on the rest of the hardware. With all of our hardware in place and hand tight, we can grab a 22mm socket and snug everything down. Now we can come back with a torque wrench and tighten everything down to the amount specified in the instructions. Now that our hitch is in place, we can go ahead and raise our spare tire back into position. That'll finish up our look at and our installation of the etrailer.com Class 3 2-inch trailer hitch receiver on our 2020 Acura MDX.